2 days passed. The world now knew about Guardian. Videos of the giant robot were everywhere. Some people called it a savior. Others feared it was another alien threat. June and his team had moved Guardian to a military base. After many talks with government officials, they had convinced them that they were on Earth's side. "We need to plan our attack on the main collector ships," Jun said. They sat in a meeting room with top military leaders. "Our weapons can't hurt them," General Kim said. "Can your robot really do better?" "Yes," Professor Minji explained. "The collector's shields work against your weapons, but Guardian uses the same type of technology they do. We can break through." Doi spread out a map showing the 3 main collector ships. "The biggest one is their command vessel. If we can disable it, the others will be weaker." "But how do we get close enough?" Sungu asked. "After our fight with the scout, they'll be watching for us." Jun closed his eyes, accessing the knowledge from his neural link. Taiho's data shows a weakness. The collector's systems are vulnerable to a specific frequency. If we can get close enough to their main ship, we can upload a virus that broadcasts this frequency. "A virus?" General Kim looked skeptical. "Yes, a combination of Narian technology and human computer code. Sunwoo can create it." Sunwoo nodded. "I'll need help from your best computer experts, but I can do it." The next day, they prepared. Military forces would attack the smaller collector ships as a distraction. Meanwhile, Guardian would try to reach the main ship and upload the virus. That night, Jun couldn't sleep. He stood outside, looking up at the collector ships in the sky. Nervous? It was Doi, coming to stand beside him. "Yes," Jun admitted. "What if we fail?" "Then we fail trying," she said simply. "Better than not trying at all." Morning came too quickly. The team took their positions inside Guardian. Sunwoo had a small device containing the virus. "Everyone ready?" Jun asked. They all nodded. "Then let's save our planet." Guardian powered up and rose to its full height. Jets and helicopters took off around them, preparing for the distraction attack. "Good luck." General Kim's voice came through their communication system. Guardian began to move, each step shaking the ground. As they approached the city, they could see the damage the collectors had already done. Whole sections were torn up where they had extracted resources. "There's the main ship," Doi said, pointing to the largest collector vessel hovering over the city center. The military attack began. Jets fired missiles at the smaller collector ships. As expected, the missiles couldn't penetrate the shields, but they got the aliens' attention. "Now's our chance," Jun said. He made Guardian run toward the main ship while its attention was elsewhere. They were halfway there when they were spotted. A beam of red energy shot down, hitting Guardian directly. "Shields at 70%, Professor Minji shouted. More beams fired. Guardian dodged some, but others hit. 50%, 40%. "Return fire," Jun ordered. Doi fired the plasma cannon. It hit the main ship, creating a bright flash against its shields. "Their shields are weakening where we hit," Sunwoo reported. "Keep firing at the same spot." Doi fired again and again. Each shot hit the same area of the collector ship's shields. "Shields down to 20%, Professor Minji warned. "We can't take much more." "We're almost there," Jun said. Guardian was now directly under the main ship. Suddenly, a massive beam hit Guardian's side. The robot stumbled. "We're hit bad," Sunwoo shouted. "System damage in the left arm." Doi cried out as her control panel exploded in sparks. "I'm hurt," she gasped, holding her burned hands. "Shields at 5%, Professor Minji said, her voice shaking. "One more hit and we're done." Jun made a decision. "We need to jump." "Jump?" Sunwoo asked. "To where?" "Up to the ship. We can't reach it with our weapons, but if we can get Guardian onto the ship itself, we can plant the virus directly." It was risky, but they had no choice. Jun bent Guardian's legs, gathering power. "Hold on," he shouted. With all its remaining strength, Guardian leaped upward toward the main collector ship, arms outstretched to grab onto its hull. Their fate, and Earth's, hung in the balance as they soared through the air. The red beam from the collector scout ship hit Guardian's shield. The robot shook, but held firm. Shields holding at 90%. Professor Minji called out. "My turn," Doi said, her fingers moving across her control panel. Targeting weapons. June raised Guardian's right arm, aiming at the scout ship. He could feel the power building in the robot's systems. "Plasma cannon ready," Doi reported. "Fire," June ordered. A bright blue beam shot from Guardian's arm. It missed the scout ship by meters as the alien craft dodged with surprising speed. "They're fast," Sunwoo said. "Again," Jun said, tracking the ship with his eyes in mind. The scout ship circled back, firing another red beam. This time, it hit Guardian's shoulder. "Shields at 80%, Professor Minji warned. "They're using some kind of focused energy weapon." Doi aimed carefully, waiting for the right moment. Firing now. This time, the blue plasma beam struck the scout ship's side. The alien craft wobbled in the air. "Direct hit," Sunwoo cheered. But the scout ship wasn't done. It fired 3 more beams in quick succession. 2 hit Guardian's shields. Shields dropping to 60%. Professor Minji said, "We can't take too many more hits like that." June thought quickly. "Miso, does Guardian have any special abilities I should know about?" "Yes, Pilot June. The gravity disruptors can create a short-range field that affects flight capabilities." "Doi, use the gravity disruptors." Doi nodded, switching weapons. "Ready, but it has short range. We need to get the ship closer." June had an idea. He made Guardian crouch down, as if damaged. "What are you doing?" Sunwoo asked. "Making them think we're hurt. They'll come closer to finish us." The trick worked. The scout ship swooped lower, preparing for another attack run. "Now," June shouted. Doi activated the gravity disruptors. A wave of invisible force spread out from Guardian. The scout ship suddenly dropped like a stone, its engines failing. It crashed into the quarry floor with a loud bang. "It worked," Doi exclaimed. "Is it destroyed?" Professor Minji asked. "No, just disabled," June answered, making Guardian walk toward the downed ship. "Let's see what we can learn from it." As Guardian approached the scout ship, a panel opened in its side. 3 collectors emerged. They were tall, with hard, shell-like skin, and 4 arms each. They carried weapons that glowed red. "They have ground troops," Sunwoo warned. The collectors fired at Guardian's legs. The robot's shields flashed blue where the shots hit. "Those weapons can't penetrate our shields," Professor Minji said. "They're too weak." Doi targeted the area near the collectors, not directly at them, firing low-power pulse. A small blue blast hit the ground near the aliens, sending them flying through the air. "They didn't get up." "Are they?" Sunwoo began. "Just unconscious," Doi confirmed, checking her readings. The pulse wasn't lethal. June made Guardian kneel down beside the scout ship. He could see inside it through the robot's sensors. "Miso, can you download any information from their systems?" "Attempting connection," Miso replied. After a moment, "Connection successful. Downloading data." "What did you find?" Professor Minji asked. "The collectors have called for reinforcements," Miso reported. "They've identified our technology as Narian in origin." "That's not good," Sunwoo said. "How long until reinforcements arrive?" June asked. "Approximately 5 Earth days," Miso answered. "They're bringing 3 more main ships." June stood Guardian back up to full height. "We need to do more than just defeat one scout ship. We need to take out their main vessels before help arrives." Suddenly, Guardian's sensors picked up new signals. Earth military helicopters were approaching the quarry. "Looks like we've been noticed," Doi said. On the ground, news vans were arriving at the quarry's edge. People pointed up at Guardian in amazement. "The world knows about us now," Sunwoo said. June watched as more vehicles approached. We need a plan. We can't fight the collectors alone, even with Guardian. Maybe we don't have to, Professor Minji suggested. Now that Earth's governments have seen what we can do, maybe they'll help us. Or they'll try to take Guardian from us, Doi warned. June thought about it. Then he made Guardian raise one hand in a peaceful gesture toward the gathering crowd. We're not running, he decided. It's time to show the world that we have a way to fight back. And so, standing tall in the morning sun, Earth's first giant robot prepared to meet humanity. Guardian's metal hands grabbed the edge of the collector ship. The robot hung from the massive vessel, legs dangling in the air. We made it, Sunwoo shouted. Pull us up, June ordered, straining with the effort of keeping Guardian holding on. With a mighty heave, he pulled the robot up onto the top of the collector ship. They stood on its surface, feeling it hum with power beneath them. Sunwoo, where do we plant the virus? June asked. Sunwoo checked his readings. There's an access point 50 meters ahead. It looks like some kind of external data port. Professor Minji was helping Doi, wrapping her burned hands with a first aid kit. She needs medical attention, she told June. We'll get it for her soon, June promised. First, we need to end this. Guardian walked across the surface of the alien ship. It was like walking on a metal island in the sky. The city spread out below them, small and vulnerable. There's the access point, Sunwoo said, pointing to a glowing panel on the ship's surface. Suddenly, a section of the hull opened. A large four-armed collector rose up on a platform. It was twice the size of the ones they had seen before, with a crown-like crest on its head. That must be their leader, Professor Minji said. The Collector General spoke, its voice booming through the air. Narian technology detected. Identify yourself. June made Guardian stand tall. We are from Earth. This planet is under our protection. Earth has no protection, the General replied. Your planet is not registered. The Narians are extinct. Their technology belongs to the Galactic Union now. Not all Narians died, June said, and they chose to share their technology with humans. The General made a sound like harsh laughter. Humans are primitive. You cannot hope to defeat us. While June kept the General talking, Sunwoo was working. I've almost got access to their system, he whispered. Keep him distracted. June stepped Guardian forward. We don't want war. Leave our planet in peace. Peace is not profitable, the General said. It raised two of its arms, and panels opened all over the ship's surface. Small weapons emerged, all pointing at Guardian. Sunwoo, June asked urgently. Almost there. Got it. Sunwoo plugged the virus device into his console. Uploading now. The General must have sensed something was wrong. What are you doing? It demanded. The weapons began to glow red, preparing to fire. Shields at 3%. Professor Minji warned. We won't survive a full attack. Upload at 60%. Sunwoo reported. We need more time. June made a quick decision. He lunged Guardian forward, grabbing the Collector General with both hands. The robot and the alien leader grappled on the surface of the ship. You cannot win, the General hissed, its four arms striking at Guardian's damaged body. We don't need to win, June replied. We just need to survive. Upload at 90%. Sunwoo called out. Almost there. The weapons all around them fired. Red beams struck Guardian from every direction. The shields flashed and died. Shields gone, Professor Minji shouted. Guardian's armor began to melt under the assault. Systems failed all around them. Warning lights flashed across every control panel. Upload complete, Sunwoo yelled. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a high-pitched sound filled the air. The Collector General screamed, clutching its head. All over the ship, lights flickered and died. It's working, Doi said through her pain. The virus is disrupting their systems. The sound grew louder. The other collector ships began to drift, losing power. The general fell to its knees. "What have you done?" it asked, its voice now weak. "We've sent a message," Jun said, "to the entire galaxy. Earth is now under the protection of Narian technology. We are its rightful inheritors." The general looked up at Guardian. "Others will come," it warned. "The Union will not allow this." "Then we'll be ready," Jun replied. The collector ships began to rise, moving away from Earth. Their mining operations shut down. The general disappeared back into the ship. They were retreating. Cheers erupted from the city below as people realized what was happening. The aliens were leaving. Inside Guardian's damaged control room, the team looked at each other in exhausted amazement. "We did it," Sunwoo whispered. Jun nodded, feeling the neural link humming with new information from the collector ship. "Yes, but this is just the beginning." As Guardian carefully climbed down from the retreating ship, Miso spoke. "Incoming transmission detected. Origin. Deep space." "What is it?" Jun asked. "A message," Miso replied, "from a hidden colony of Narian survivors. They heard about Earth's victory. They're coming to meet their new allies." Jun couldn't sleep that night. He kept seeing Uncle Tahoe's blue-tinted face in his mind. An alien. His uncle was an alien. It still didn't feel real. Early the next morning, Jun drove back to the warehouse alone. He needed time to think. The ship sat there, silent and strange. This time, he walked straight to the opening and stepped inside. "Hello," he called out, not sure what to expect. The control panel lit up as he sat in the chair. Jun had always been good with machines. Since he was a boy, he could take apart and fix almost anything. But this was different. This was alien technology. He touched one of the glowing buttons. Nothing happened. He tried another. Still nothing. "Maybe I need to speak to it," he said to himself. "Ship, can you hear me?" A soft hum filled the room, and a voice answered. Voice command recognized. Activating interface. Jun jumped in surprise. The voice was gentle and female. "Who are you?" Jun asked. "I am the ship's artificial intelligence system. I have no designation." "Then I'll call you Miso," Jun said, thinking of his favorite soup. "Can you teach me how to use this ship?" "Yes, Pilot Jun." Basic controls will now be highlighted. Several parts of the panel began to glow brighter. "This is for movement," Miso explained as a joystick-like control lit up. "This is for altitude. This is for speed." For the next few hours, Jun learned the basics. He discovered that Tahoe had programmed the ship to respond to Korean commands. It made sense. His uncle had lived in Korea for decades. "Miso, what can you tell me about my uncle?" Jun asked. Tahoe was a mechanical engineer from Nari. He escaped during the Great Purge when the Collectors attacked our planet. "Who are these Collectors?" The Collectors are a mercenary race that harvests resources from planets for their employers. They believe that unregistered planets have no rights in the galactic community. Jun frowned. "And they're coming here? To Earth?" "Yes." Tahoe's scans indicated their approach. Estimated arrival within 1 month. That evening, Sunwoo came to the warehouse with food. Jun told him everything he had learned. "So we have an alien ship that you can actually fly?" Sunwoo asked, his eyes wide. "Let's take it up." "I don't know if that's a good idea," Jun said. "What if someone sees us?" "Just a quick test," Sunwoo urged. "We need to know if it really works." Jun couldn't deny he was curious. They climbed inside, and Jun sat in the pilot's chair. "Miso, can we do a short test flight?" "Systems ready for launch, Pilot Jun." Jun gripped the controls. Here goes nothing. The ship hummed louder. They felt a slight push as it lifted off the warehouse floor. Jun carefully guided it up through the open skylight of the warehouse. "We're flying," Sunwoo shouted, his face pressed against the curved wall, which had become transparent from the inside. The city lights spread out below them as they climbed higher. It was beautiful, and terrifying at the same time. "Wait," Jun said suddenly. "What if radar picks us up? We could get in trouble." As if responding to his worry, a new button lit up on the panel. "What's this, Miso?" "Cloaking device. It will hide the ship from human detection systems." Jun pressed it. The outside of the ship shimmered. "Cloak activated," Miso said. "We are now invisible to Earth technology." They flew higher, breaking through the clouds. Stars appeared, clearer than Jun had ever seen them. "This is amazing," Sunwoo whispered. As they turned to head back, something on the control panel began to blink red. "Miso, what's that?" "It's the long-range scanner. It's detecting unusual activity at the edge of your solar system." Jun and Sunwoo looked at each other, both thinking the same thing. "The collectors," Jun said. "They're coming earlier than expected." Back at the warehouse, they turned on Jun's tablet. The news showed scientists talking about strange energy readings in space. Government officials denied any cause for concern. Jun looked at the ship. "I need to learn everything about you," he said. "And fast." "I will teach you, Pilot Jun," Miso replied. "Your uncle left specific instructions for this situation." "What instructions?" "How to transform this ship into something more powerful. Something that can fight." The helmet closed around Jun's head. At first, nothing happened. Then blue light filled his vision, and he felt a strange tingling from his neck to his fingertips. "Neural mapping in progress," Miso's voice said, sounding like it was inside his head now. Jun saw images flash by. Stars, planets, ships, and faces of people who looked almost human, but with blue-tinted skin and large eyes. Memories from Uncle Tahoe. "I see everything," Jun gasped. "I see Nari. I see the collectors attacking." The others watched nervously as Jun's body tensed in the chair. "Is he okay?" Sunwoo asked. "The process is normal," Miso replied. "He is accessing Taiho's knowledge." After 5 minutes, the helmet released. Jun opened his eyes, which glowed blue for a moment before returning to normal. "It worked," he said, his voice shaky. "I know things now. I know why Uncle Taiho came to Earth." "Why?" Professor Minji asked. "He was part of a resistance against a group called the Galactic Union. They're the ones who hire the collectors to find resources. Taiho discovered a weakness in their systems, but they found out. He had to run." "And he picked Earth?" Doi asked. "Yes, it was far from the Union space, and he liked humans. He thought we had potential." Jun stood up, feeling stronger somehow. He was hiding here, but also preparing. "Preparing for what?" Sunwoo asked. "For us to fight back. The Narians were peaceful, but they were forced to create weapons when the collectors came. This ship is one of their best designs." Professor Minji studied the hologram of the robot. "We need to understand how it all works before we try to transform it." "I'll help with the weapons systems," Doi said. "If they're anything like what I trained on, I can figure them out." Sunwoo nodded. "And I'll work on understanding the main controls and power systems." For the next day, they trained. Miso created simple simulations for each of them. Dopey practiced targeting and firing the weapons. Professor Minji learned how the shields worked. Sunwoo figured out the power management. And Jun, with his new neural link, practiced moving and controlling the robot in a virtual space. "It feels strange," Jun said during a break. "When I'm linked in, it's like the ship is my body. I can feel it." "That's the neural connection," Professor Minji explained. "Your brain is treating the robot like an extension of your body." As they trained, the news got worse. The collectors had started operations in more places: Africa, South America, even parts of Asia near Korea. World governments tried to negotiate, but the aliens ignored them. "We're running out of time," Doi said, watching the news on her phone. "We need to transform the ship and fight back." "We're not ready," Professor Minji warned. "The energy requirements for transformation are enormous. If we make a mistake, we could burn out the system." Or we could blow up half the city, Sunwoo added. Jun closed his eyes, accessing the knowledge from the neural link. We need to move the ship somewhere safe, away from people. Then we can try the transformation. They decided on an abandoned quarry outside the city. That night, they flew the ship there under its cloaking device. The empty stone pit was perfect, far from any houses or buildings. As they prepared, Jun called them together. I need to tell you something else I learned from the link. Uncle Taho wasn't just hiding on Earth. He was protecting something. What? Doi asked. Information. The collectors have a weakness. Their command systems can be disrupted by a specific frequency. Taho discovered it before Nari fell. That's why they hunted him. He encoded the frequency in the ship's database. So we can use it against them. Professor Minji asked, her eyes wide. Yes, but only if we can get close enough to their main ship. Jun looked up at the night sky, where the collector ships loomed like dark stars. Tomorrow, we transform, then we fight. For Earth, Sunwoo said. For Earth, they all repeated. That night, none of them slept well. The next day would decide the fate of their planet. Dawn broke over the quarry. The ship sat in the center of the wide stone pit, gleaming in the early morning light. Jun and his team stood nearby, watching as a collector ship passed overhead, headed toward the city. They're picking up the pace, Doi said. That's the third one I've seen this morning. Jun nodded. It's time. We need to transform the ship now. They climbed inside and took their positions. Jun sat in the pilot's chair. Sunwoo was at the systems console. Doi stood ready at the weapons station. Professor Minji prepared to monitor the shields. Everyone ready? Jun asked. They all nodded, their faces serious. Miso, begin transformation sequence. Beginning sequence, Miso responded. Neural link activating. Jun felt the familiar tingle as his mind connected with the ship. This time it was stronger, spreading through his whole body. Power systems at maximum, Sunwoo reported, watching his screens. All green. Defensive systems standing by, Professor Minji said. Weapons not yet available, Doi added. They'll come online after transformation. The ship began to vibrate. Jun closed his eyes, seeing the transformation process in his mind. It was like watching a puzzle solve itself. Outer hull reconfiguring, Miso announced. The walls around them shifted. The circular room stretched, becoming longer. New panels appeared. The ceiling rose higher. Outside, the ship was changing. The smooth disc bulged and split. Metal panels slid apart. Long sections extended outward, forming arms and legs. The center rose up, creating a torso and head. Power at 70% and dropping, Sunwoo called. This uses a lot of energy. Keep it stable, Jun said, gritting his teeth. He could feel every movement of the ship now, as if it were his own body stretching. The floor beneath them shifted as internal systems rearranged. What was once a small control room became a larger command center, with their stations now spread out in a wider space. Halfway there, Miso reported. Through the view screens, they could see parts of the ship still moving, locking into new positions. The sound of metal sliding against metal filled the air. Power at 50%, Sunwoo warned. It's dropping faster now. We'll make it, Jun said. In his mind, he could see the final form taking shape. The ship, no longer a ship but now a giant humanoid figure, rose to its feet. 50 meters tall, it stood in the quarry like a metal giant waking from sleep. Transformation complete, Miso announced. Combat form achieved. Jun opened his eyes. The control room had completely changed. Now they sat in what looked like the head of the robot, with clear views in all directions. It worked, Sunwoo whispered. Jun looked down at his hands. When he moved them, the giant robot's arms moved too. When he took a step forward in his mind, the robot stepped forward, shaking the ground. This is incredible, he said. Weapon systems online, Doi reported, her voice excited. I have plasma cannon, energy pulse, and something called gravity disruptors. Shields at full strength. Professor Minji added. The energy field is stable. June took another step, getting used to the feeling. The robot moved smoothly, following his thoughts. Now what should we call it? Sunwoo asked. It needs a name. Guardian, Jum said without hesitation. We're Earth's guardians now. As if hearing its name, the robot straightened to its full height. The morning sun gleamed off its metal skin. Then a blaring alarm cut through their moment of triumph. Warning, Miso said. Collector scout ship approaching. It has detected our energy signature. They looked up. A small, arrow-shaped ship was flying toward them, much faster than the larger collector vessels. They've seen us, Doi said. What do we do? June felt the weight of the decision. Run and hide, or stand and fight. Weapons ready, he asked Doi. She nodded. Ready. Then we fight, June said. It's time to show the collectors that Earth isn't helpless anymore. The scout ship fired first, a red beam cutting through the air toward them. Shields up, June shouted. Their first battle had begun. We need to know everything about this transformation, June said, sitting in the pilot's chair. Miso, show me how it works. Accessing hidden database, Miso replied. The air in front of June filled with glowing blue lines that formed a 3D image of the ship. The Narians were known throughout the galaxy as master engineers, Miso explained. They created vehicles that could change their form based on need. The image shifted, showing the disc-shaped ship slowly unfolding like a flower. Parts moved, connected in new ways, and formed the shape of a giant human-like figure. Wow, Sunwoo whispered. This is the combat form, Miso continued. 50 meters tall when fully deployed, armed with energy weapons and protected by the same shield technology the collectors use. June reached out to touch the hologram. How do I make this happen? It requires power, a lot of power, and a neural link with the pilot. Neural link? You mean it connects to my brain? June asked, feeling nervous. Yes, the combat form needs human reflexes and decision-making. A machine alone cannot match the collectors. June walked around the hologram, studying it from all angles. What about these weapons? The image zoomed in on the robot's arms. Right arm, plasma cannon. Left arm, shield generator. Chest, energy pulse system. And these would work against the collector ships. Yes, Taiho studied their weaknesses during the fall of Nari. He built this ship specifically to fight them. Sunwoo pulled out his phone. News update. The collectors have started mining operations in Russia. They're using some kind of beam to pull minerals straight out of the ground. June's face hardened. How soon can we transform the ship? The process can begin immediately, Miso said. But as I stated, you need a team. The combat systems are too complex for one person. Who exactly do we need? 4 positions total. Pilot, who controls movement through the neural link. That's you, June. Systems operator, who manages power and basic functions. Weapons specialist, who targets and fires the weapons. And shield technician, who maintains defensive systems. June turned to Sunwoo. You can be the systems operator. You're good with computers. Sunwoo nodded. I can handle that. But we still need 2 more people. I might know someone for weapons, Jun said. Doi. She was in the Air Force. She got kicked out last year for claiming she saw alien technology. She saw this ship, Sunwoo realized. Probably. Uncle Taiho must have taken it out sometimes. And for the shields, what about Professor Minji? Sunwoo suggested. My physics teacher from college. She's brilliant, and she's been posting online about the collector's shields being based on some kind of energy field theory she developed. Perfect, Jun said. Let's find them. They spent the next day tracking down their potential team members. Doi was working as a security guard at a mall. When they told her about the ship, she laughed at first. But when they showed her pictures, she went quiet. I knew I wasn't crazy, she said. I saw something like this 3 years ago, flying over the mountains. No one believed me. Professor Minji was harder to convince. She was busy working with other scientists, trying to find a way to penetrate the collector's shields. You're saying you have alien technology that can fight them? She asked skeptically. Yes, Jun said, and we need your help to use it. Show me, she demanded. They took her to the warehouse that night. When she saw the ship, her eyes went wide. The energy signature, she whispered, looking at readings on a device she carried. It's similar to the collector's, but different, more refined. Inside the ship, Miso showed them the transformation process again. This is incredible, Professor Minji said. The physics behind this, it's centuries beyond what we have. Will you help us? Jun asked. A news alert came through on all their phones. The collectors had moved their deadline up. They now demanded Earth's surrender in 2 days, not 7. They're getting impatient, Doi said. Professor Minji looked at the alert, then at the ship's hologram. I'm in, she said. What do we do first? First, Miso answered, Jun must accept the neural link. It's not without risk. The connection is permanent. Everyone looked at Jun. He took a deep breath. I'll do it, he said. Show me how. The controls are hidden, Miso said. A small panel opened in the wall, revealing a helmet-like device. Put this on, and the process will begin. Jun lifted the helmet. This was the moment everything would change. For Earth, he said, and placed it on his head. 5 days later, it happened. Jun was at work fixing a car engine when all the phones started beeping at once. Emergency alerts. His boss turned on the TV in the corner of the garage. We interrupt this program with breaking news, the reporter said, her face pale. Large objects have appeared in Earth's atmosphere. They appear to be spaceships. Jun dropped his wrench. He ran outside where everyone was looking up at the sky. 3 massive dark ships hung in the air, each one bigger than a football stadium. They were shaped like sharp arrowheads pointing down at the Earth. The collectors, Jun whispered. They're here. He jumped into his truck and drove as fast as he could to the warehouse. Sunwoo was already there, pacing in front of the ship. Jun, did you see them? Sunwoo shouted. Yes. We need to find out what they want. Jun climbed into the ship. Miso, can you pick up any signals from those ships? Yes, Pilot Jun. They are broadcasting a message to Earth. The inside of the ship filled with a deep, grinding voice, speaking in a language Jun couldn't understand. Can you translate? Processing, Miso said. Translation complete. The message played again, now in Korean. People of Earth, we are the collectors. We have determined that your planet contains valuable resources that are needed by our employers. You are an undeveloped species with no galactic registration. You have no rights under the Unified Planetary Code. You will surrender all claim to your world within 7 of your days. Resistance will result in forced extraction. Jun's hands shook. They're going to take over Earth. What can we do? Sunwoo asked. Before Jun could answer, the TV in the warehouse showed military jets flying toward one of the alien ships. Missiles launched, hitting the side of the massive craft. Nothing happened. The missiles exploded against some kind of invisible shield. Earth weapons will not affect their shields, Miso said. The collectors use 5th-level energy field technology. The alien ship turned slightly. A beam of red light shot out, hitting one of the jets. It simply disappeared, as if it had never existed. No, Sunwoo whispered. More jets attacked. More beams fired. Within minutes, 20 planes were gone. Over the next 2 days, armies around the world tried to fight the alien ships. Nothing worked. Not missiles, not bombs, not even the most powerful weapons. The collectors didn't even seem to notice the attacks. World leaders went on TV, urging calm. They said they were trying to communicate with the aliens, to negotiate. Miso, Jun said on the 3rd day, Can you intercept communications between the collector ships? Yes. Their systems are not designed to hide from Marian technology. What are they saying? Misso played a series of sounds. Translating now. A clear voice came through. Main Harvester, this is Scout 1. Human resistance continues but is not a threat. Their weapons are primitive. Recommend beginning resource extraction in less populated areas while awaiting the end of the surrender period. Approved, Scout 1. Target the region they call Siberia first. It has minimum population and maximum resources. June turned to Sunwoo. They're going to start taking Earth's resources before the 7 days are even up. We have to do something. Sunwoo said. Can this ship fight them? Not in its current form, Misso replied. But Taeho left instructions for another option. What option? June asked. The transformation protocol. This ship was designed by the best engineers of Nari. It can change its form for combat. Change how? Into a humanoid combat unit, what humans might call a robot. June stared at the control panel. My uncle's ship can turn into a giant robot. Yes, but the transformation requires significant power and a neural link with a pilot who shares genetic markers with the original owner. That's me, June said. Uncle Taeho changed his DNA to appear human. He lived with my family for decades. Correct. You are compatible enough to form this link. June took a deep breath. How do we start? First, Misso said, you will need help. The combat form requires a team to operate at full capacity. June looked at Sunwoo, who nodded. Who else do we need? Someone who understands flight dynamics and battle tactics, Misso said. And someone who understands advanced physics. I might know who can help, Sunwoo said. But will they believe us? They will when they see this ship, June replied, looking up through the warehouse roof at the alien ships in the distance. They have to. The rain fell hard on the cemetery as June stood by the fresh grave. His uncle Taeho was gone. June pulled his black jacket tighter around his shoulders. He was the only one left at the burial site now. He was always strange, June whispered to himself, but he was kind. Uncle Taeho had lived alone in a small house on the edge of town. He rarely had visitors and always wore the same blue coat, even in summer. People called him weird, but June saw something else in the old man's eyes, a kind of knowing, like he had secrets that made him smile. 2 days later, June sat in a small office across from Mr. Park, a lawyer with thick glasses and a thin mustache. Your uncle left you something, Mr. Park said, sliding a small metal box and an envelope across the desk. He was very clear that only you should receive these items. June picked up the envelope first. Inside was a single key and a note written in his uncle's messy handwriting. Asterisk June, my boy. There are things I could never tell you. Things you would not believe. But now you must know the truth. Go to the old warehouse at the edge of the industrial district. Unit 17. Use this key. What you find there is yours now. Be careful. The collectors are coming. When they arrive, you'll know what to do. Asterisk. Asterisk. Your uncle, who was never really your uncle. Asterisk. June read the last line again. What does he mean? Never really my uncle. Mr. Park shrugged. I just handle the paperwork. The metal box requires your fingerprint to open. June pressed his thumb against the small pad on the box. It clicked and popped open. Inside was a strange device that looked like a smooth stone with glowing blue lines. What is this? June asked. But Mr. Park had no answers. That evening, June called his best friend Sunwoo. You need to come with me, June said. Uncle Taeho left me something weird. Your uncle was already weird. Sunwoo laughed. But I'm in. Tomorrow after work. The next day, they drove to the industrial district in June's old truck. The warehouse area was mostly empty, with many buildings left unused. Unit 17 was at the far end, its metal door rusty and covered in old graffiti. This place looks abandoned, Sunwoo said as June put the key in the lock. The door opened with a loud creak. June found a light switch, but nothing happened. "Hold on," he said, taking out his phone to use as a flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, revealing something large covered by a huge tarp. June stepped forward, his heart beating fast. He grabbed the edge of the tarp and pulled. What the Sunwoo's jaw dropped. In front of them sat a sleek, disc-shaped object about the size of a small bus. Its surface was smooth and silver, with no visible windows or doors. "Is that what I think it is?" Sunwoo whispered. June walked slowly around the object. "It can't be. This isn't real." He reached out and touched the surface. As soon as his fingers made contact, a seam appeared, and part of the side slid open. Soft blue light spilled out. "It recognized you," Sunwoo said, stepping back. "June, what did your uncle do?" June held up the stone device from the metal box. It was glowing the same blue color as the light from inside the craft. He stepped closer to the opening. "I need to know," he said. Inside was a small room with a chair and what looked like control panels. When June sat in the chair, the stone in his hand pulsed, and a hologram appeared in front of him. It was Uncle Taiho, but somehow different. His skin had a slight blue tint, and his eyes were larger than June remembered. "Hello, June," the hologram said. "If you're seeing this, then I am gone. I need to tell you the truth. I was not your mother's brother. I am not from Earth. My real name is unpronounceable in your language. But Taiho has been my name for 40 years now. I came from a planet called Nari. I was a refugee, hiding here. This ship contains technology that could change humanity's future. Learn to use it. The collectors are coming to your planet. When they arrive, you'll know what to do." The hologram disappeared, leaving June and Sunwoo staring at each other in shock. "Your uncle," Sunwoo finally said, "was an alien.